Okay, it was all a bit short notice because at the very last minute, David had a pretty key sponsor who was really supporting him and paying. I mean, you know, you're talking between 80 and 95 grand to do the Dakar Rally on a motorbike. And it was all sort of going well, and then that sponsor, for whatever reason, pulled out, and that left David pretty traumatized, really, like high and dry. No way could he pull that kind of money out of out of nowhere. And lots of people were persuading him, or tried to persuade him, to go for a GoFundMe idea, but it was only like literally weeks to go, weeks before the bike had to get down to south of France to get on a ship to get taken to Saudi Arabia. And then out of the blue, a little company that I have heard of before, but I didn't really know, called spiritofmotorsport.tv. In fact, I'll take this off now because no one's around. Spirit of Motorsport TV. I mean, they stepped in and said, well, can they help? And basically what they did, which was really cool, because they're the kind of company, I think, who just want to make things happen, get things done. And they came in and they basically said, right, let's pull it together, let's schedule everything, let's like get a strategy, and let's like make things happen. And that's what they did. They pushed the GoFundMe campaign, they made it more of a formal kind of a setup, and before you know it, that figure in the GoFundMe campaign was really rocketing. It got right up there, and then they decided to top it up themselves. Spirit Motorsport just came in, topped her up. They gave me a call and said, Billy, do you fancy doing this gig? And I said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So that's how I got involved, and that's how Spirit Motorsport got involved. They just seen the guy, if you like, in trouble and came to help. And the Spirit of Motorsport is exactly what it says on the tin. I mean, they are into all things motorsport, and this just fitted exactly. And of course, David and I based in the Isle of Man, and so are they. So that's how it all happened, and that's how it all came together. And we've had a fantastic Dakar. David's done better than lots of people would expect. I mean, we really wanted him to finish. That could have been 60th, 70th. There's 120, 130 bikes in the Dakar. To actually finish is a massive achievement. To be quite honest, and you'll hear this from people who know, to get to the start of the Dakar is a massive achievement. Literally, to get to the start. And to go every day then as a bonus. And we had 6 people in the team, 6 riders, and only 4 came across the line, So 2 of them had pretty reasonable accidents and reasonable injuries, and that's what happens in the Dakar. So we got 4 of them across. The team was fantastic, headed up by a guy called Henk. Henk runs HT Rally Raid, which is a team that supports people who want to do rallies, and they do everything for you. They prepare the bike, they get the bike, they set the bikes up, they do all the transportation and everything, and they were fantastic. And it's such a lovely feeling now, the end of the Dakar, staying out in the desert, doing a bit of exploring. I'm heading up east from Jeddah. See the way I said that? Jeddah, not Jeddah, Jeddah. From Jeddah across east towards Riyadh, and I'm going to do a little bit of exploring around that way. But for now, we're just in the deserts east of Jeddah on the way to Riyadh, and as you can see, I think this is what Dakar's all about. Oh, and by the way, talk about ninja, as you can see, I walked from the camera through the sand and didn't leave a mark. That's ninja. That's ninja. You can see not even a mark. The beetles, the sand beetles can't even see that I'm here. That is ninja. Wow, what an evening. Strangely, I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I can actually hear a truck somewhere in the distance. But it's not Dakar. Dakar's gone, done and dusted. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what the wind noise is like here, but I don't know whether you can tell from the visuals here, but it is pecking wind. I was going to light a fire, and then I thought, you know what, maybe best stay under the radar. There's been a fair bit of warnings about Al-Qaeda and ISIS and Daesh, whatever word you want to describe them as, from ISIL, ISIS, IS. They don't like getting called Daesh, and so let's call them Daesh. But there's a fair bit of activity in the news and that, and so it's probably not a great idea to make my presence too well too well announced, particularly now that you're not under the canopy of the Dakar. You know, the Dakar had a fair bit of security around it, you know, and certainly the Saudi government didn't want anything bad to happen, because that would have been a real disaster from a PR point of view. You know, the whole thing about Saudi is really trying to, for want of a better phrase, I'm sure they wouldn't agree with this, but westernize, and I think that's a good thing, you know, and it's quite controversial to even be here. I know that, and some of you are watching this and probably thinking, why did you go, Billy? You know, why did the Dakar go? And a lot of people asked that question in the beginning when the deal was done with Dakar and Saudi. And but you know what? I understand the issue. I understand the human rights issues over here. And you know, being here for a month now, you can feel the difference in society very starkly. But I still think, particularly now that I'm here, that it is a good thing, because the more that Saudi, if you like, westernize, the more acceptable, or the more non-acceptable it is for some of the things that go on here. Like, so for example, you're not allowed to show affection here. You're not supposed to hold hands walking down the street with your girlfriend, or kiss, or things like that. You can't take pictures in the public, because unless you ask express permission from individuals who could be in the picture. It's very, very strict, very, very strict religion. There's mosques literally everywhere. By the way, as I speak, there's a man on a white horse. You couldn't write this. There's a man on a white horse way over that way on one of the dunes, a rocky dune, and he's heading this way. And at this stage, you would think cowboys and Indians. I don't know. I hope he's a friendly type, but he's definitely heading in this direction. But we'll come back to him. It could be really, really cool little encounter. But yeah, so I think it's a good thing that the Saudi moves towards the West, and you can move towards the West by running big sports here. People call it washing with sports. You wash the bad things away from your country by running sports. But I don't know. I don't take that angle. I think it's a good thing, and I think the more Saudi people here who meet Westerners through the likes of the Dakar Rally, the more they get a flavour of what Western life is like, and about maybe some of the freedoms that we enjoy in the West. And I think the Saudi government is heading in that direction. But you know, this is to some extent sort of 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th century kind of lifestyle here, if it wasn't for the skyscrapers, but I mean culturally. And it's going to take a long time for that to change. And I know we can maybe disagree with some of the aspects of the culture, like beheadings and the chopping off of limbs for robbers and things like this. I mean, it's for me it's archaic, but actually, you know, things take time to change, and we'll see. You know, that's my 50 pence worth anyway. Like, you can agree with me, and I'm sure many of you will disagree with me, but that's where I'm sitting here at the side of the sand dune, waiting for the sun to go down, and the horse is getting a bit closer now. Hello, Mr. Horseman. Hope everything's okay with you. Yeah, born in Liverpool, brought up in Ireland. Yeah, go Ireland. This is where I pull my Irish passport out now and don't show the British one. Luckily, I'm not an American. That was uncalled for, Billy. Uncalled for and inappropriate. Right. I don't know what to do now. I don't know whether to... I am tempted to light a fire now. Now someone's seen me now. But a fire here in the night time would be pretty cool, eh? I know what I'll do. I'll go and pump up the thermarest. Pump up the thermarest. That's what I'm going to go and do. I'm surrounded by beetles, by the way. I feel like Indiana Jones. There's just sand beetles everywhere, and they seem to be attracted to me. You know, like snakes in Indiana Jones. I'm the beetle man, okay, not the snake man. But literally, they're all around me, and they're coming up the dune and coming around me, and I don't know what's going on. It's like the mummy's curse. The mummy's curse. You know what I think it is? I think it's because I've disturbed the sand, and then the moisture, I've let moisture out of the sand by disturbing it, and they're all coming to have a drink, you know, to take some of the moisture. Here in Saudi Arabia, that's my David Attenborough voice, by the way. Here in Saudi Arabia, the sand beetles come all around Billy and drink the moisture. That doesn't sound right, does it? No, that's inappropriate. Right, okay. I'm a coming. Toulouse-Lautrec. Toulouse-Lautrec. Only old people will get that.